Hi, guys. It's Kathy. I hope you're doing well. So, I thought today I would do a real fun stream of pretend. I'm going to pretend it's freaking 4:30 in the morning. I'm, and do my stream like it's 4:30 in the morning. Why? Why? I do remember before I started streaming how wretched it was every morning at 4:30 when I knew I hadn't slept all night long and it's 4:30 and I still can't fall asleep, and how wretched it was every night. So really this is so much better than that. But why, guys? We should be asleep. All right. Yeah, Fozzie, I went to Catholic school my whole life, and the public schools used to put tuna in our radiators. They called us tuna tech because during that, well, you ate tuna, you ate fish. That's what you ate. Although I'm having a pork chop in about 15 minutes, but it's a freaking humongous pork chop, as big as my head. Thank you, Fozzie. Thank you, Fozzie, for this delicious pork chop. I can't wait. I can't wait for this pork chop to get done cooking. It's 7 fingers high. This pork chop is 7 fingers thick. Yep. Yep. I would Google that, but don't. Do not Google. Do not Google that. Do not do it. I'm warning you, man. Okay, so I have a clip today, and so I've had it for a while, I think since February. And the reason why I have it is because I showed you the end, but I didn't realize there was this tiny little nugget of wonderfulness before that. So you guys have already seen the end of this. You already know what's going to happen. Thankfully, I'm pretty sure most of you are just not going to remember the end at all. But don't worry, I will retell you the end. I'm just going to show you today this tiny little piece in the middle because it was great. What else do I have? Mom gets thrown out of court, yelling at judge. She has to yell at the judge. And then I have one that's called idiot and one that's called annoying attorney. Yep. We're going to start though. I did my best with this audio. It's not perfect, but it's fine. I mean, it is fine. It's not perfect, but you can hear everything. We're going to see a mom get thrown out of court. At 4:30 in the morning.
Yeah. All right. Of course, with the conditions of bond being that no contact order stays in place. Yes. All right. Thank you. That's all I have this morning. Thank you, Mr. Houck. Your Honor. Good morning, Mr. Lillardor. Michael Schaefer, Your Honor. Will the parties approach? You're welcome. No. Hey, miss you guys. Go ahead and sit down. You read that right now. Thank you. Good morning, Mr. Schaefer. Good morning, Your Honor. State of Indiana versus Michael Allen Schaefer, 71 DL 12402 F6 131. The parties are here before the court to receive a verdict on the trial that we had, the bench trial. There's an 11-page opinion in front of you because
I forgot something very important, and I don't want anybody to figure it out, which you can't, before I say. I can't believe I forgot. One of you, though, would figure it out. I don't know how. And then you would say it, and before I had a chance to say it. I got a shirt in the mail today, and you can't see it. Hold on. I'm going to try something that, watch, as soon as I touch this freaking camera, it's going to go out. No, I'm not going to touch the camera. I'm just not going to. Move the microphone. You still can't see it, can you? Well, I can see it. I can see my shirt. Do you want to see what my shirt says? Well, you know. That's my shirt. And I paid for it. I paid money. I paid money for a shirt that is this. Even the half, even the extra drawing and everything. And it's awesome. And it's one of my favorite shirts ever right now. And it's so soft and it's so comfortable. And I'm so happy. My shirt says it's Bill. Yeah, you can barely make it out. That's how I drew it. That's called special effects. You make people squint at their screen to see something or turn up the volume way high just to hear something. And then, that's dedication. makes people like stuff more. Okay, back to work.
As I walked out of court that day, the opinion that I had in my gut is not the opinion that appears on paper. I had to go through the law. That's what I want you to know, sir, that when you told police that day that you did nothing wrong, I think that might be a little strong of a statement.
Okay. So what's happening is this guy here went through a whole bench trial with this judge. I think it's Judge Brock, but I'm not 100% sure. I just can't remember. There's so many of those Indiana judges in these courtrooms where you can't see their face and you only hear their voice. So it's hard for me to remember which one it is. But he had a bench trial with this judge, and it was about child abuse or something along those lines, neglecting a child or whatever law they threw at him. And the child is a teenager. And apparently the man was disciplining his teenager in public. And bystanders called the police. So he got arrested. He went through a bench trial with this judge. But the judge did not give the decision during the bench trial. The judge had to think about it for a while. So the judge has created an 11-page opinion on what's going to happen to this guy. And we're going to hear what the judge does and how the family reacts.
But in Indiana, in criminal law, there's a gap between not doing anything wrong and being guilty of a crime. The reason this order's 11 pages long is because I've had to sort through everything. I had to redo the whole trial in my head to find out where on that spectrum you were. It was close. It was real close. I don't think that's probably your proudest parenting moment. The child's mother said pretty well, I think, that we thought we had to parent a certain way with this child. Maybe in retrospect, there's a better way. She's seen that, and the child maybe has seen that. Hopefully you've seen that too, because there comes a time at which, when a child is 15, 16, 17 years of age, you really can't make them do the things like you used to when they were little. At some point, you're just explaining to them the consequences of their choices. And you may have to let them fail. You may have to let that child get that F and P and have to pay for summer school in order to graduate on time. And it's hard as a parent to let your child fail. And you can see it coming. It's hard. But sometimes they have to learn. They have to touch the stove to realize it's hot. And as a parent, that's tough.
So hard.
And you're the kind of guy, I think, based on what the evidence I saw is, when you make up your mind, pretty well set. If you get pushed back, you bow up. And I saw a young lady in court who made up her mind. And when she got pushed back, she bowed up. So you were trying to parent the you out of your child. And that's tough. That's something your mom probably said to you. I hope you have one just like my mom said that. So I just want you to know that while the verdict is not guilty on both counts,
Not guilty.
it was a close call, sir. And I hope you want to have a relationship with your child when she's an adult, because as a parent of adult children, that is one of the most rewarding things in my life. I want that for you and your child. And you do. Well, I think you got some work to do. Make amends with your child. That's the verdict of the court. The opinion flushes it out. Thank you. Anything further?
Yeah. He doesn't even care about it. He doesn't even have contact with his other daughter.
Ma'am,
This is crazy. That a 16-year-old is held more accountable than a 44-year-old man. A stranger stopped in the street. I didn't call the police. She didn't call the police. He didn't call the police. The stranger did.
ma'am, you're excused from the court today. Some of the issues that you addressed,
Maybe
the people that stopped in
maybe we should see if he learned his lesson, Judge, and have him discipline the mom.
the street, it's flushed out in the order, had a snapshot of what was going on. They did not have the full picture of what was going on. In that moment, what they saw did not take into account the factors that the court is to consider in the Willis case. So initially, that was what my gut said. People on the street stopped. But when I look at the law, and we're bound by the law, it became something a little different. So that's where we're at. Anything further from the state?
No,
Yes.
no, you're right.
Was there any bond?
No, that's what I was talking to Michael. No, it was already taken care of. So
Okay.
we're good.
All right then.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
All right. She didn't get contempt. She didn't get arrested. But he's like, ma'am, you can leave the courtroom. He wasn't even nice about it. He didn't say, look, I understand how you feel, but no. Get her out of here. I don't remember what this next one is, but I named it Idiot. So let's watch Idiot.
Hey, George, would be Eric Contreras, Contreras, case number 24SR3823. This is for reckless driving.
No, that's not the one I missed before. You'll see what I missed before.
And improper tires. The state is presenting a null pros for reckless conduct and emerging speeding.
Okay. How many more matters do we have for the interpreter?
I'd have to look, Your Honor.
Okay. Maybe somebody can kind of be teeing those up so I can get Ms. Bates to, if you can prioritize Ms. Bates matters, I'd like to get her out of here
Yes,
too.
Judge.
All right, good morning. All right, tell me your full name, sir.
Eric, Adrian Contreras.
All right, Mr. Contreras, you're 19, is that right?
Yes, Your Honor.
Have you had enough time to talk to Mr. Weaver about your case?
This is so terrifying. This video is gonna make you lose sleep at night thinking about it.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. I am holding in my hand a copy of your petition to plead guilty to the charges of reckless driving and bulb tires and merge the remaining counts that aren't being null prossed, reckless conduct being null prossed. Did you read this document, understand it, go over it fully, and sign it down here at the bottom with Mr. Weaver?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you answer all of the questions freely, voluntarily, and truthfully?
Yes, Your Honor.
I need to advise you that by entering this plea this morning, you give up some important rights, including the right to a jury trial if you want it. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Has anybody used any kind of threats, force, pressure, or intimidation to make you enter this plea?
No, Your Honor.
Has anyone made you any promise that causes you to plead guilty?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Well, did you do what you're charged with doing? That is, on the 5th day of April, 2024, did you unlawfully drive a Ford Mustang motor vehicle in a reckless manner in reckless disregard of the safety of persons and property by speeding in excess of 100 miles an hour?
100 miles an hour, over 100 miles an hour. He's 19. Hi, Miss Kay.
After dark.
Yes, Your Honor.
And how do you plead to the charge of reckless driving?
Guilty.
And in count 4, did you also drive that same Mustang on Linear Parkway with bald tires, essentially?
Yes, Your Honor.
And how do you plead to the charge as alleged in count 4 of this accusation?
Guilty.
I'm going to accept your pleas of guilty. I'm going to find that you understood the charge against you. And I'm going to find that you've entered the plea freely and voluntarily and with a full intelligent understanding of what you were doing. Mr. Olive, anything you want me to know?
Yes, Your Honor. The reason behind this is the defendant's first offense, first citation. He was clocked at doing 121 miles an hour down the highway.
Yep, but it gets worse, guys. It gets way worse.
I did go to jail that night.
I bet.
And that's where a lot of this comes from, this being a first offense with the probation, the fines. He's already completed a deal of his community service, but he had a 17-year-old with him as well, and during negotiation.
Yep. Yes, he did. He had a 17-year-old in the car with him. 19-year-old and a 17-year-old going 121 miles an hour late at night. I know you. I really, really, really know you. Watch. I'm going to tell you how much I know you. How is your cat today? Is your cat okay?
We don't cross the reckless conduct based on that. And that's why he's not allowed to have any, if he gets his license back while he's on probation, he was not allowed to have anybody under 21 in his car. The state will be requesting that before reporting probation throughout at least the first year of this matter.
Okay, well, let me then run through all of, you've hit some of the high points, but 12 months probation with 2 days to serve credit for time served deemed served.
Yes, Judge.
$500 fine plus court costs and surcharges.
Yes.
40 hours of community service work. Defensive driving
Yes.
or risk reduction? It says DDS. Is that defensive driving?
Defensive driving school, yeah.
To report any new moving violations within 10 days to probation and to not have any passengers in his car under 21 years of age. Additionally, on count 4, that's going to be 12 months probation consecutive and a $500 fine, plus court costs with early termination available. Is that right?
Yes, Judge.
Okay. Mr. Weaver, anything you want me to know?
Just briefly, Judge, obviously, as you can see, this was a very bad decision that Eric made. He was, at the time, he was 18. Eric's a good kid. He was just being a immature, kind of a bonehead, we'll call it. At the time, he understands that this behavior is completely unacceptable, not only for his own safety, but for the safety of others. Eric's dad's sitting right here in the back.
Okay.
His mom and dad are very involved, and he's already been in quite a bit of trouble at home. As you know, he went to jail for this, and there are a lot of repercussions he's suffering outside of the sentence. One thing is he's worked at Wrigley's for.
Yo, we need that last dad in here. Somebody go get that last dad from Indiana and take him down to Georgia. He's needed.
Period of time. He lives up in Gillsville, though, and as a result of a 6-month license suspension that he's going to receive for this, that job's likely going to cease to exist, and he knows he's going to have to find new employment because it's about a 30-minute ride. Mom and dad both work, so there have been a lot of things outside of this that he's dealing with. I can honestly say, in talking with Eric, I don't expect the court will see him back again. He has taken this seriously. He's completed all 40 hours of his community service. He has done defensive driving. I believe Dad thinks that he posted a cash bond. Mm-hmm. And if so, Dad's here. He's willing to move the money over to the fine. We can pay the rest of the fine. We did want the court to know, while Dad's the one that put up that money, Dad is not the one paying this fine. This is Eric's money.
Good.
That is going to pay this, fine. And so just wanted to point that out to the court. I think Dad may have wanted to mention something briefly if the court was inclined.
Sure. I just need him to be microphoned. Mr. Weaver, what's Dad's name?
Arturo Contreras.
Okay, Mr. Contreras, if you'll start by telling me your name, sir.
Arturo Contreras.
All right, Mr. Contreras, what did you want me to know?
Just want to apologize for my son's mistakes. And yes, he put everybody, and I'm sorry for putting somebody else's lives in danger.
Well, I wanted to tell you, Mr. Contreras, I am a parent of a teenage boy myself. It's hard, right?
Yes, it is.
Because there's nothing more nerve-wracking than to put your child in a car and watch him drive away.
Yeah.
But I appreciate it. Sounds like that you are doing the things that you need to do to make him learn a lesson from this and to be responsible. So I appreciate that.
Thank you, and I'm doing my best to make sure that he's going for the right path. But he did what he did. He know he was wrong, and I'm making sure that he's not. He has to pay for his mistakes, but also that since he's gonna be under my car, he's under my insurance to make sure, like, if he makes this mistake again, he's gonna have to be removed because he's gonna have to take advantage of be responsible for his own mistakes. And
I understand. Thank you, Mr. Contreras.
thank you.
Thank you.
I won't even tell you what my car insurance is because of my son.
I did have one other thing I left.
Yes,
I'm
Mr.
sorry.
Weaver.
In talking to the state, we did discuss this. On the reckless driving, the state's recommendation is 12 months probation, full reporting. I'd asked the state to agree to allow that to go non-reporting. They were not going to agree to that, but they said I could ask the court. We would ask that could be allowed to go non-reporting. And a big portion of that, or the big reason for that request, is Dad goes into work. He works 12-hour shifts, 6 to 6. Mom goes into work and she goes in from 6 to 5:30. And so he's going to have a 6-month hard license suspension, which is going to likely result in the loss of his job, but it's just going to make it exceedingly difficult at times to get to and from probation. And I think the majority of his sentence will be completed when he walks out of court today. So I would just bring that to the court's attention to make that request.
There are still some conditions on him. And so I'd be willing to let him, even though he is local, remotely report before I'd want him to go non-reporting.
That's fine.
Because, Mr. Contreras, I believe you have learned your lesson. I believe your dad. I believe you. But you need to understand a couple of things. One, and I think you do understand these things, but number one, you've got some real severe consequences today.
Hi, Amber.
But they're not nearly as severe as they could have been. I've seen what happens when cars collide at over 100 miles an hour and there's nothing left. That's horrific. This could have been horrific for your parents and for the parents of the 17-year-old in your car, and if you collided with somebody else. And that has happened. That has happened on 985. That has happened recently. And lives are shattered. I know when you're young and you have a Mustang, this feels like fun. But it's really a 3,000-pound weapon, really. And this is a hard.
No kids understand that because they believe they're the best driver on the road. They don't understand why everyone else is such a bad driver and they go so slow when it's so easy for them to go fast and not hit something.
Lessons to learn this way. And Wrigley's is a great job, and I hope you don't lose it. I hope you can find a way to get back and forth to your job, because it seems like you have a lot going for you. You have a father here who clearly loves you and wants you to be a responsible adult. You have a good job.
Yes, Fozzie, you're a very good driver.
And I hope that doesn't happen. But this could have been
Fozzie
worse.
is a very good driver.
But I do want you to understand, I think 121 miles an hour is the fastest one I've had in front of me in 2 years on the bench. I've had a lot close to 120, like 117, 100, maybe 119, but I don't know that I've had anybody going 121 miles an hour in 2 years on the bench. That's really fast. So if you were to, and I don't think you will because you got a 6-month hard suspension, but if you come in front of me with a new speeding ticket or a moving violation, you should expect I'm going to take that very seriously. You understand what I'm saying to you, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. I'm guessing you did not enjoy going to jail. Okay. So you should keep that in mind. You understand what I'm saying to you?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. So what's your plan?
Man, gotcha.
Are you going to try and hold on to the job at Wrigley's?
Hopefully, I'll try to.
Okay, so you're a high school graduate, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. If you lose the job at Wrigley's, have you thought about what you want to do?
Not yet, Your Honor.
Okay. So what did you do at Wrigley's? Or what do you do at Wrigley's?
I'm a machine operator.
Okay. Okay, well, I appreciate you took it seriously. I hope this doesn't derail you going forward and that you can be successful and reach your goals. But you just got to remember how one little mistake can change everything, you know? All right. Well, good luck to you, Mr. Contreras. You'll need to meet with probation, okay?
Thank you, Judge, and that concludes my business. May I be excused?
Yes.
Good to see you.
Hey, Georgia, be Eric.
Hey guys, guess what I found out while I was watching that clip? I can't believe no one said it, but I played that one before. And okay, here's why. In my defense, this is what happened today. I wanted to get, I want to get some stuff for Monday, so I have plenty of content for Monday. And while I was doing that, oh my God, I got the best 2 things for Monday. Okay. I have 3 computers. 2 of them were tied up completely with gold. You are going to love Monday so much, so much. Well, the 3rd computer is for Judge Fleischer. Just is. I planned on getting more content as soon as Judge Fleischer was done, but then I fell asleep. All right. So I wake up later and then I realize I have nothing for today. Nothing at all. So I start going through some of the stuff that I already have like sitting around on my computer, which was there because we had just gone through 2 big trials. We went through, I don't remember, one in Georgia and one in somewhere else. So I had stuff I haven't looked at yet. So I didn't remember I had already played this. I just saw it and thought, oh my God. And it scared me a lot. So I played it. But that's okay. I don't think I played the next one before. It, Thank you so much. Now you're at 7. You did 2 before. You're at 7. Thank you. Thank you. That's because some people watch the clips I play. Not us, not me, but some other people do. Thank you. All right, professional. I deleted one of Fozzie's comments today because he commented on me being not professional, and I typed professional. And then 3 unprofessional things happened right after that. Oh, no. All right, now we're going to go on to an annoying attorney. Let me just look at it.
Yeah.
There's many more for.
If anybody thinks that we have seen this before, please let me know, and I'll go right to Judge Fleischer. Oh no, I got a better clip coming right after this. I'm just gonna go to. I think I'm just gonna go to the better clip. That way we have. Nope. I'm gonna play this. I don't know what I'm doing here. No one taught me. There's no school for how to do this stuff.
That's bad.
Okay, are you Heather Juliana Bocci?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Bocci, you are, what I'm fixing to tell you, your attorney's probably already told you a bunch of this, but I need to go over it anyway.
Okay.
You're here for what is called a preliminary hearing. Sometimes you hear called a prelim, PC, probable cause, commitment hearing. Those all mean the same thing. You're not going to be found guilty or not guilty of any charges today.
Yes, sir.
This hearing is just to see whether or not there's sufficient evidence for the case to go forward. And you already indicated at your first appearance hearing that you understood what the charges were, so I won't go through all of that again. If you do hear anything that you feel is unfair, untrue, that you take exception to, just let your attorney know. He'll make sure that your concerns get addressed. Please don't
Interrupt.
shout out anything on your own, because it's been the court's experience that about 100% of the time when people do that, they end up not realizing it, but they say something that hurts their argument instead of helps their argument. So anyway, with that, we'll proceed.
Thank you, Judge. State call Investigator Riley to the stand, please. You raise your right hand for me. Swear from the testimony you're about to give in this matter is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Have a seat, please. Introduce yourself to the court.
My name is Katie Riley.
And how are you employed, Ms. Riley?
I'm an investigator at Dawson County Sheriff's Office.
Are you a post-certified peace officer? How long have you been a post-certified peace officer?
Since September of 2023.
All right. Did you swear out warrant 2025 MW54 charging Ms. Bocci with battery under the Family Violence Act?
I did.
Did you swear out warrant number 2025 MW55 charging her with another count of battery under the Family Violence Act?
I did.
And did you swear out 25 MW56 charging Ms. Bocci with family or cruelty to children, third degree?
I did.
How'd you get involved in this case?
The case came to us as a defects referral, informing us that Ms. Bocci's son, Timothy Gage Shepard, had gone to school and disclosed some domestic violence. He had some visible injuries. We had asked the school resource officer to obtain photos of those injuries, and he did so and was able to send those to us. I had two open cases with the family at the time. I had spoke with Ms. Bocci on the phone and was able to schedule a forensic interview for both her children, Timothy Gage Shepard and Tripp Shepard.
All right. Now that you said that he had disclosed, do you know what he disclosed to the school counselor?
He had disclosed to, I believe it was the assistant principal,
Okay.
that him and his mother got into a physical altercation that morning, and she had headbutted him and pushed him into the bathtub.
All right. Now you said there were photographs of injuries. Did you see the photographs?
I did.
What did you observe?
There was a visible red scratch on Timothy's face, and there was a bruise and a scratch on his knee.
All right. Do you know whether or not Timothy wore glasses or anything like that?
He did wear glasses.
In your opinion, was the scratch consistent with someone who had been headbutted with their glasses on?
It was.
You said that Ms. Bocci scheduled a forensic interview for both children with you?
Yes. A third party brought the children, but yes, it was scheduled through Ms. Bocci.
All right. And were the children interviewed?
They were.
Who interviewed them? Do you remember?
It was Ms. Anjana Freeman.
All right. Were you present for both the interviews?
I was.
Did you observe both the interviews?
I did.
Let's start with Timothy Gage. What did he say?
He disclosed the same exact thing to the forensic interviewer, that him and his mother got into a verbal altercation that turned physical. She had headbutted him in the hallway of their home. He was wearing the glasses at the time, and the glasses scratched his face. And then he proceeded into the bathroom to brush his teeth to finish getting ready for school when she came in there and pushed him into the tub, causing the scratch and the bruise on his leg.
All right. Now, did you say was Tripp interviewed as well?
He was.
What did Tripp say?
Tripp explained that he had seen the altercation between his brother and his mother in the hallway and witnessed her headbutting his brother in the face.
Did he say what they were arguing over since Tripp was watching this?
He said it was an argument over a cell phone, I believe.
All right. Were you able to talk to Miss, back to the forensic interview, did Ms. Freeman indicate to you whether or not she saw any signs of coaching, any outside influence on these children?
She did not.
Back to the argument about the cell phone. Did Gage say what the argument was about?
He had said that his mother asked him to apologize for something that he felt he was not sorry for, and he did not want to apologize.
That's interesting. Okay. Did you speak to Ms. Bocci about this?
I did not.
Did you know if anyone else was present when this took place?
I don't believe so. I believe it was just the three of them at home getting ready for school that morning.
All right. Did they disclose any other acts of domestic violence in the home during the interview?
They did.
What else did they say?
Tripp had disclosed some domestic violence between his father and his mother.
All right. What did he say?
He explained in.
I'm going to object to this point of relevance.
Anything you want to say, Mr. Greer?
Well, this is the thing. The children are witnessing domestic violence, but if the father is committing, just hypothetically, I don't know the answer, but if the father is hypothetically committing domestic violence on the mother, then she might think it's okay to hit, strike, or whatever that's the only reason I'm going into that. And if there's domestic violence in the home, then there's likely to be more domestic violence in the home. I'm trying to find out whether or not during that forensic interview that came out. That's all.
Judge, we're not talking about more domestic violence. We're talking about the warrants that we're here for today.
I understand, and technically, I agree with the objection, but it's in this particular in this case in particular, the court's aware of some proceedings and procedures that admittedly don't answer a specific question as to probable cause for these warrants. And I can't not know what I know. I'm going to go ahead and let Mr. Greer continue the line of questioning. Feel free to continue the objection because we'll see where it goes. We might get to a point where it really isn't. And I know I've said a lot of words to, I've gone a long way around the barn with my explanation, but normally I think you'd be correct, and technically you may be correct in this case, but I'm going to let the questioning go on for right now.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Were there any other disclosures of domestic violence during that interview?
There were other disclosures, yes.
And what was the specific disclosure?
Tripp had disclosed an incident where he had witnessed his father punch his mother in the back of
I
the
got to
head.
object again. This is about the father and not Ms. Bocci.
Again, he just objected and you just overruled it, so he's wasting my time now.
All right. Overruled.
All right, now, so Tripp disclosed that his daddy, is that him sitting back there in the courtroom right now?
It is.
And was he arm in arm with her before the judge walked out?
He was.
All right. Did Ms. Bocci, this is the relevance of the question, did Ms. Bocci tell you that her husband had punched her in the back of the head in the presence of her children?
She did not disclose that information to me directly. She disclosed it to the officer on scene that day.
All right, thank you. Now, where did all this take place?
The incident
Yeah.
at their house,
Where is that located? What county?
Dawson County.
No further questions.
Thank you. Cross-examine.
Thank you, Judge. Investigator Riley, you mentioned that this case came to you through a DFAX referral, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Are you aware of the status of the DFAX case, if any?
Objection, relevance.
I'm going to let him go have the same leeway. Go ahead.
The DFAX case has been closed.
were you, let me ask you this. Did you physically see these injuries on Timothy?
I saw the photos that were taken.
Okay. I want to talk about the red scratch that was on his face. Can you describe the dimensions of that scratch?
I'm not able to describe the dimensions. I wasn't the one that took the photo.
Okay, but you said it was consistent with someone being headbutted while wearing glasses. That's very specific.
Correct.
But you can't describe the dimensions.
No, sir.
Do you know how many photos were taken of the injuries?
I believe it was 4 photos total.
Okay. How many photos of the scratch on the face?
There were 2.
Okay. And I would assume 2 of the bruise and scratch on the knee?
Correct.
Can you describe the dimensions of the bruise on the knee?
It was on his kneecap, like on the side of his kneecap. I don't know the dimensions of the bruise.
So you couldn't tell us how large that bruise was?
I can show you with my hands. It was approximately that big.
Okay, would you say maybe an inch in diameter?
Probably a little bit larger than that.
Okay. How about the scratch on the kneecap? Can you describe that?
It was small. The scratch was small on the kneecap.
Okay. So Ms. Bocci voluntarily set up a forensic interview, correct?
That is correct.
Do you know if those forensic interviews were recorded?
They were.
Did you preserve those interviews?
I did.
But you didn't interview Ms. Bocci.
I did not.
Why not?
She was arrested and had bonded out by the time I was able to interview her.
So during the forensic interview, you testified that Timothy said that they were arguing because he refused to apologize for something that he didn't feel like he was sorry for, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Did he go into any more detail about what that something was?
He did not.
Did Tripp say where he was when he observed the headbutt?
I believe he said he was in the living room of their residence, and he was able to see the hallway in which it happened.
Just a moment, Your Honor.
You bet.
Investigator Riley, could you tell me the date of the DFACS referral?
November 6th,
What was the date of the forensic interview?
November 25th.
For both children?
Yes, sir.
And do you know if Timothy and Tripp were together between November 6th and November 25th?
I believe they were together.
No further questions. Thank you.
Redirect.
No, thank you.
All right, may this witness be excused.
I did use word with Mr. Pleasant, doesn't.
Thank you.
Well, that came out wrong. Of course, she may be excused, yes. Did not come out right at all.
You've been watching too many of my videos, that's all.
Right. No further witnesses, Judge.
All right, thank you. Witnesses for defense.
No, Your Honor.
Any evidence for defense?
I'm sorry.
Evidence?
No, Your Honor.
All right, argument.
Your Honor, supposedly there were photos taken of the scratch that was allegedly on Timothy.
That is a 7-finger pork chop. Fozzie sent me a 7-finger pork chop with this garlic butter to put on top. And it looks so good. Oh my God, it smells so good. Oh my God, I don't even know. You don't even know what this smells like right now. Oh man, this is a 7-finger pork chop. And now I will never go less than 7 fingers, ever.
His face. Investigator Riley was not able to describe that other than to say it was consistent with someone being headbutted while wearing glasses. That is overly assumptive and conclusive. We don't have any information about the dimensions of that scratch, what it looked like, anything like that. So Judge, we would
It's actually 5 fingers, but maybe that's because I cooked it, right?
ask that you dismiss the warrant related to the headbutt. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Both
State-
scratches were visible. They meet the standard for probable cause. That's all the statute requires. No dimensions needed. Thank you.
How do you fry a 7-finger pork chop?
Based on the evidence before the court, the court will find probable cause for the 2 warrants as charged, 1185 and 1186.
Judge, I believe there's a third warrant. What's the court's?
Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. I'm sorry. Those were the wrong numbers anyway. It was 0054, 0055, and 0056.
Thank you.
Whoa, that was great timing. So if you have kids or if you're a server, you know every single time dinner is ready and you have your knife and your fork in your hand and you're ready, you have to do some work. I have to do some work now. Oh, guys. Okay. So this next clip. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. Stop talking crazy talk. So this next clip, a while ago, I think it was either late February or early March. I played a clip of a guy yelling at the judge. I'm going to tell you the end because you've already seen the end. So it's not a spoiler. He got life in prison without the possibility of parole. So he was yelling at the judge over life in prison without the possibility of parole. It was down in Georgia. And trying to remember, and I can't. My brain is working triple time right now trying to remember. I remember before that, a couple months before that, I had a guy on the stand who was accused of, inappropriateness with his daughter. And there was this attorney that was he was so irritating and he was ripping this man to shreds. We get to see this attorney today, but we mostly get to see the guy on the stand. We're going to see this annoying attorney who's so good and this guy on the stand, and we're going to hear about what happened. Like, how did this murder occur? And then we're going to hear the lawyers argue for a little bit and frustrate the hell out of the judge. The judge is just so frustrated. Speaking of frustration and a frustrated judge, I don't know how I'm going to be able to wait until Monday. Guys, I got something so good for Monday. I want to send it to Law Talk with Mike too, because I need to, but I can't yet because we have to see it first. But it's so good. Frustrating. The judge is so mad. All right, but let's just go to this one where the judge is pretty upset with everybody.
I leave the gun at the scene of the crime is on me. I run down the steps and get in the car. How can I throw the gun down, take the gun out the fanny pack and throw it down? It was on me, sir.
And you took your bag with you?
Yeah, I grabbed the bag of clothes.
So you were still kind of taking care of yourself. Is that fair?
The bag was already packed. She told you the bag was on the bed. The bag was already packed. I started packing the bag when I told my friend to get out the room and sit on the bed. What part of that you not understanding, sir?
And you decided not to stick around and tell law enforcement what happened, right?
I panicked. I made a poor choice and I flee when I should have sat down on the steps and waited for them to come. I made a poor choice.
How long did you panic?
Huh?
How long did you panic? Like at some point you stopped panicking and kind of got your thoughts together, right?
To be honest with you, I cried and played out to God. That's what I did. I stopped, cried and played out to God and asked him, don't let that happen for what happened. He died. That's what I did.
But I mean, at some point you kind of got your faculties together, right?
Thank you, Fossey. It's really delicious. Thank you. Thank you, Just Kay. But you have to tell me, is this minutes or is this just for today? You have to tell me, you have to let me know. And thank you.
Yeah and no, because I still was like, man, I can't believe that happened.
Was that before or after you turned your phone off?
My phone died. It didn't. But the phone, I never used the phone that they say they ping it. The screen messed up on it. It was kind of like, it was so messed up. If you try to touch it, it cut your hand. That's why I had the 713 phone. The other phone that they pinged, and it was that I was in Decatur at 5 o'clock. That's why I had that phone, because this phone was messed up.
So how come why didn't you drive Trampus' car down to Decatur?
Why I didn't drive Trampus' car to Decatur? Because I told Trampus I do what I say I'm gonna do when I tell somebody I'm gonna do something. And I told Trampus I was gonna leave his car in North Point, and that's what I did.
Why didn't you ask him if you could borrow his car, drive it down to Decatur?
He had already let me drive his car. What I'm gonna ask him, man, he know I just shot this dude. What I'm gonna take his car down there for, and he might not be able to get it back or something could have happened. I did what I said I was gonna do. I was gonna leave it in Gainesville at a place we had agreed upon, and I went to Decatur.
Safe to say that Trampus must have been pretty freaked out like the ladies were, right?
Man, Trampus, man, you got to understand, man, Trampus wasn't freaked out. If he was freaked out, if Trampus was freaked out, like I know Trampus, guess what he did? Y'all stop. D, you tripping. He didn't say none of that. He steady trying to get high.
Why, you let Trampus out of the car first, right? Why? Why did you want to get rid of Trampus out of his car?
What you mean? Why I want to get? He wanted to get out the car. I didn't want him to get. He like take him to his dad's house. I asked him what he was gonna do. I was gonna take him with me. He said, I want to get out. I want to go to my dad's house, my stepdad's house. I didn't drive him all the way to his stepdad's house, but I drove him pretty enough close to it where it wouldn't have been no 20-minute walk. It'd have been like a 5-minute walk. And I turned around and went my way.
Why didn't you just leave his car there and then call Damian James to come get you?
Because I would have been closer to who I was trying to get in touch with to take me to Decatur.
Where's Damian James work or live?
I don't know exactly.
Now, why did you have to go to Decatur?
Because I wanted to go see my son. I went and seen my son. If you really want to know, I went and seen my son. I went and talked to my last living son to tell him, don't do nothing stupid. I just messed up. Don't go do nothing stupid.
What'd you tell him?
Man, listen, I just made a mistake. I might be going away again, bro. Don't
His last living son. We're about to hear more about this son.
go kill nobody about this situation. Find out what's going on first. Bro, I done lost 2 of y'all. I don't need to lose another one.
When did you find out Dustin had died?
On Facebook. I was scrolling Facebook and like around 4 or something, and it showed that the last time I pinged Facebook at 5 something, when they picked up the track the phone, that's the last. That's when I found out that's what they had.
Dustin is the man he shot and killed.
So you didn't go down to DeKalb County because you were trying to avoid the Gainesville Police Department?
Nah, man, I wanted to talk to my son, man.
Would you agree with me, though, that you were still kind of covering your tracks a little bit?
Cover my tracks. Well, I called and told somebody to go get my girlfriend and bring her to me so I can tell her what's going on, so she'll know what's going on.
Sure,
I
but
had contacted some people in my church, and I was going to turn myself in.
when was that planned?
Saturday morning.
But instead of turning yourself
I got a
in,
hotel room. It's 0 degrees outside. I'm in DeKalb County. I didn't want to be around my son with all his friends and what they got going on. And what they had going on was a little bit more extreme than this, because they like, my son is a blood. They was like,
His son is a blood in Georgia, which means, I mean, I'm guessing, but probably means his other two were also as well. And now remember, he got life without the possibility of parole. We already saw that. We saw the end already. So he went to see his son for the last time as a free man. Maybe. I mean, his son is probably going to wind up with him soon anyway. But could you imagine saying those words out loud? You know, my son is a blood. My son is a Crip. And I mean, oh, man. And you know where they live, it's you sort of have to. You have to pick a side. You have to. Oh man, it's just so sad. It's just so sad that you know, the life that they are living right now is the only option. There's no like, I'm going to get a 9-to-5 job as an insurance salesman, you know, and go to the neighbors on the weekends and complain that, you know, the price of wine is really going up. I mean, could you imagine just living that life at all? Oh my gosh.
trying to think about going to do a lot of crazy stuff, and I talked him out of not going.
so why didn't you just get a ride back to Gainesville with Benny?
I don't know. I wanted to try to get me some rest and get my mind together.
And to do that, you stayed in the car while Benny checked in under his name, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, first, like I said, he picked me up. I was at the Waffle House eating. He came and picked me up. If you see that, I called him a couple different times, telling him on his phone. If y'all pinged the phone, y'all seen me calling him and talking to him like 10 different times on that phone from that location I was already at before he got there. So let's not play the game like he brought me down there. Y'all knew I was down there in DeKalb County already before Benny came. So let's not play the game. Let's keep it real, because my friend is dead, and I got to deal with this. I got to suffer for this. I got to take the punishment for this. Let's keep it real. Y'all already knew I was in DeKalb County. Don't play the game like y'all didn't. Y'all pinged my phone. You showed it yesterday on TV. I was already in DeKalb County, man. Sitting in the Waffle House eating food when Benny pull up, pick me up, and go to the hotel, and he checked in the room. Okay, he pulled around the side of the hotel. Y'all see this on all the cameras. Y'all show all the footage. Show the footage of
Let me ask you.
what exactly happened. After he got the room, he pulled to the side.
Let me slow you down and ask you a question.
Yes, sir.
Okay? Benny went in there and checked in. Did he go in there and check in under his name because you asked him to?
Yes.
Because you didn't want your name on the registry down in DeKalb.
Because I was cold and I was tired.
My son, he lost a few games in Overwatch today. It was horrible. There was screaming, there was yelling, there was swearing. It's the worst thing that happened to my son today.
I had been in DeKalb County all day. You feel what I'm saying? Around my son, I had to get off around them because they had something extra going on, and I didn't want to be around that.
So is your testimony today, the reason you sent Benny in there was because you were cold and not because you were trying to hide from the police?
No, I just asked Benny to get a room, and he went in there and got the room. I asked him just, here, man, go get the room. That's all I did. He didn't even know what had happened. He didn't know I had shot nobody.
And then Benny just took your bags up to the hotel.
Yeah.
Without you asking.
And I got out and went in the hotel.
And because you were not trying to hide from law enforcement, although you saw the police there, you double locked the door and put a piece of furniture up against it.
Man, you know what area that I was in? You know that's a high crime and drug area? You know that?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's kind of your thing, though, isn't
Okay,
it?
but guess what? You know that the detective, the agent told you that that's a high crime drug area. Why wouldn't I double lock the door? Why wouldn't I put something in front of the door? Come on, man, be serious. You trying to confuse me and make me angry. You're not gonna make me angry. Ain't nothing gonna be able to bring my friend back. It was a mistake of him scaring me enough to try to defend myself that his life got took. What more do you want me to say? Please, I'm saying serious. What more do you want me to say? I already admitted that I led up to the situation. I shot my friend thinking he was finna try to hurt me. What do you want me to say?
I want you to tell this jury why you got rid of the gun.
Why I got rid of the gun? Ask yourself that question. If you live in the street and you're an ex-con and something like that happened, why would you get rid of the gun?
Where'd you send it?
In the bottom of the lake.
Lake Lanier?
Man, I don't know. It's one of those lakes. I don't know.
I mean,
I know it'll never be used again.
So there's no chance a kid's got it in his hand right now?
No.
Where did you stop to get rid of it?
I don't know, man. On the ride.
On the ride where?
On the ride to Tucker from Thompson Bridge Road.
But I mean, you know
Lies.
this area. Where did you stop?
Yeah, well, I don't know. I can't tell you. I'm not familiar with that part of it.
So Damien knows that you got rid of this gun you used to shoot your friend?
No, I don't think he do.
What'd you do? Just say, hey, could you pull over here?
No, I didn't say none of that. The gun was already gone before Damien picked me up and took me to Tucker, man.
Okay, so how did you get out of Gainesville then, if Damien didn't drive you?
I didn't tell you Damien didn't drive me. I didn't tell you who drove me.
Why don't you tell us who drove you?
Damien James.
Okay, so Damien.
You already know that because you already been talking to him about it.
So Damien drove you from Gainesville to Atlanta.
I'm saying you already know that. You already talked to him about that.
And if you could answer the question that's being asked.
Yes,
and
ma'am.
not volunteer your own
Yeah,
information.
he picked me up and drove me to DeKalb County.
Okay, now, and when the time came for you to get rid of this gun,
He was already gone before he picked me up and took me to DeKalb County.
so the gun was thrown somewhere here in Gainesville?
Might have been. I don't know.
I don't have any further questions. Thank you.
Follow up?
No further questions.
All right, you can step down, sir. And defense can call your next witness. And if I could have the grand jury approach while we're waiting for the next witness. Hmm?
All right, Judge, we'll be requesting voluntary manslaughter.
And what evidence do you think there is in regards to voluntary manslaughter?
Judge, we have evidence.
Annoyed
Both, we have evidence from.
The judge is annoyed. Unfortunately, though, for the rest of this clip, it's these two fighting, and she has the greatest accent in the world. And these two fighting, and this guy right here trying to fight so bad. Unfortunately for us, he's not allowed to talk right now. He's just not allowed to. Only these two can talk right now. And we don't get to hear him.
Obviously, the GBI indicating that.
I don't know what her accent is. If I had to take a wild stab, I would say like UK. I don't know. You guys will tell me though.
Destin Alexander was high on a lot of
So what?
methamphetamine. Let me finish, Judge, if you don't mind. Apologize, I don't want to be rude, and then we have Corey Rucker testified who he grabbed him, which would obviously serve as a reasonable provocation to then and excited about saying one of us is going to die today. Obviously, words alone are not sufficient, which is why I included the other jury charge that words of themselves. But those words coupled by the menacing actions of grabbing him, trying to attack him in his animated hands would be sufficient for voluntary manslaughter.
And the serious provocation you're arguing is grabbing of the shirt that would justify shooting him.
Coupled with the words, one of us is going to die today, yes.
Right. And Ms. Fowler?
Judge, the state is objecting to the latter included based on the fact that what was testified to, I don't think would have been serious provocation, but more so what the defendant testified to was that this was an accident.
Yes.
The testimony, with the exception of part of Mr. McNeil's cross/direct was that he never pulled the gun out. If he never pulled the gun out, Judge, we don't have an intentional shooting. We don't have an aggravated assault. It was an accident. Voluntary manslaughter requires an intentional act, and the defendant was very, very clear on the stand that he did not intend to shoot.
And what about that, Mr. Callahan?
Simple, Judge.
Well, let me finish.
Yes, Judge.
Your client, despite the fact that Mr. McNeil said led your client into, you would agree that you intentionally shot him, and he said, well, and then said yes after I think the third time. His testimony was that he didn't mean to shoot his friend. I mean, that he never pulled the gun out, and he put his hand on the gun, and Corey pulled the sweatshirt, and it miraculously went off, even though his finger was on the trigger.
Judge, that is definitely not what the testimony provided. The testimony provided he was in fear, and yes, there's some back and forth, but that just means simple. You can intentionally shoot someone, but still regret. And this testimony is coupled with his regret of having to shoot Destin because of his fear. He shot, now his hands, he said, was on the trigger. He pulled it out. It didn't go all the way out because it was still in the fanny pack. And the bullet went through the fanny pack into the chest because it was point blank.
And so you're not going to argue any form of accident?
No. Judge, if you notice the accident, there's no accident jury instruction included in our back. We're not arguing accident. We are arguing this is a self-intentional.
Mr. McNeil, one person argues. That's it. I'm doing that for both sides. Mr. Buckler doesn't get to say anything.
So, Judge, we're also arguing self-defense. And this argument sounds like it's probably going to be appropriate for both. We are arguing self-defense because he was approached dangerously. He thought he had a weapon. There's testimony that Destin kept an ice pick in his phone. You have testimony that Corey saw something silver in his hands. He couldn't see what because of vision problems. That does not negate his ability to either A, voluntary manslaughter, or B, self-defense. And Judge, I would say that most of this would be up to the jury to decide, obviously.
However, there's numerous cases that say that the court has to make some finding that there's some evidence to charge a jury on. Correct, Mr. Callahan?
So one moment, Judge. All right. Sorry, can you repeat that, Judge? My apologies.
I said the case law is that the court has to find that there is some evidence for a charge to be appropriate.
Yes, Judge, that is correct. And I believe that's been met easy. Testimony provides he approached aggressively, he saw something silver.
I just don't know what he said there. In my head, he just said to the judge, that's been mad easy. But logically, no lawyer would say to a judge who's already annoyed at you, man, that's mad easy. So I'm gonna play it again. Here we go.
That is correct. And I believe that's been met easy. Testimony.
Did he just say that's been mad easy?
Provides he approached aggressively, he saw something silver in his hands, words were, so one of us is going to die, coupled by him grabbing with what Corey perceived as a silver object was going to stab him. I think that's sufficient enough for the court to find some, as you said, some slither of evidence to support either voluntary manslaughter or self-defense. I believe we've met our prima facie case.
But you would also agree that you can't, I mean, self-defense is find him not guilty because he was justified in his action.
Thank you, KS. See, somebody listens, not me, but somebody does. KS, thank you.
But if you don't go with that one, try voluntary manslaughter.
Judge, I am straight up arguing self-defense in this case to a jury. I am not precluding Mr. Rucker's other option for a lesser included if a jury does not feel like it rises to the ground of either.
Okay, everybody listened except for me. Everybody got it. Y'all got it. Wasn't just KS.
Alice murder or felony murder? No, our main defense. Our main defense is self-defense. And I've been upfront about that from the start. And Ms. Fowler can attest to that as well.
Is that appropriate, Your Honor?
You may.
Okay. That's true, Judge. Mr. Callahan's always said that, and so I was frankly surprised when Mr. Rucker testified. On cross-examination with Mr. Bucker, he said, I didn't pull this gun out and try to kill this guy. He initially said on direct, he did not pull the gun out.
No, I remember exactly that testimony, quite frankly. So I don't think it's a mischaracterization. But they don't want, there's conflicting because Mr. McNeil did ask his client a number of times whether or not he intentionally shot him. And on one of the times he said yes.
Right. So there's some
evidence. And they're saying that they're not arguing accident. And that's a strategic decision, correct, Mr. Callahan?
Yes, Judge, that is a strategic decision.
Then I suppose I don't object to we didn't get to the self-defense. I think we were still on voluntary, is that correct?
Yes.
Well, yes. It's my opinion.
We got a foreigner in here? Who?
The evidence doesn't rise to suffice either, but I do understand that the appellate courts are very strict about even just a tiny bit of evidence to support. I think it would be error not to give it. So.
I'll give voluntary manslaughter. It'll be, I'm going to use the updated pattern charge. Mr. Callahan, you did not give me an updated pattern charge, so that's what I'll use.
Yes, Judge. Sorry, my old copy is from 2023.
And the provocation by words alone charge, which is defendant's request to charge number 18. The appropriate number is 2.10.42, and I will give that charge. In regards to defendant's request to charge number 17, you've heard evidence of the character of the defendant or the character of the defendant for a particular trait more specifically, and it would be filling in the blank, in an effort to show that the defendant likely acted in keeping with such character or trait at pertinent times or with reference to an issue in this case. This evidence has been offered in the form of opinion or other witnesses.
No. I'm just saying you do not have to be American here to not be a foreigner. I don't know of any foreigners in here. Not one. Nope.
You should consider any such evidence along with that. What trait are you talking about? His drug dealing trait?
No, Judge.
Well, what trait would it be?
Essentially, it'd be a character of his good peace. We've heard incidents where, from Christian Guff, for example, testified unobjected to that at times when the place would get rough and this person was acting sketchy, Corey backed up and left. We heard another case where he would then go rent another hotel to get away from any disturbances. That's a character of good, peaceful nature, Judge.
Okay, I'm going to not give 17.
And Judge, just for the purpose of the record, I would like to object to your ruling.
Your exception is noted.
Thank you, Judge.
All right, so
there's one alien here but he hasn't spoke for a few minutes.
Defendant's number 19 is justification, and it says the fact that a person's conduct is justified is a defense to prosecution for any crime based on that conduct. The defense of justification can be claimed, A, when the person's conduct is justified, and then you've requested that I say under OCGA 16-3-29 and 16-3-24. What do those mean, Mr. Callahan?
Judge, Destin was committing the crimes of false imprisonment against Corey Rucker. All the witnesses testified that Corey, just to use the chart as an example, was back up at the fridge. And V even said that Corey could not leave and that Destin was essentially prohibiting his escape. False imprisonment is a forcible felony, Judge, so that would be justification.
And 16-3.
And that question is my fault. So halfway through this trial, she's like, okay, everybody, hold on. I need the grand jury in here. She was working with the grand jury that day, and that has absolutely nothing to do with this trial. And I thought it was interesting that she was doing both. So I kept it in. And now I realize that's probably very confusing to everybody who didn't see the whole thing like I did. Yeah. I'm a professional.
21 says what?
I would have to Google it, Judge, if I may use my phone.
You can. It just
What the people are hashing out right now are the jury instructions. They're going to fight for 7 more minutes, and then we're going to go to Judge Fleischer.
if I just say those numbers to a jury, they're going to have absolutely no idea what I'm talking about because you can't. I mean, I have to look it up.
Sorry, Judge, can you repeat those numbers?
16-3. It's in your request to charge number
Yes.
19.
Oops, wrong one.
That's
Oops, that's not the right one.
sorry.
16-3-21 is use of force in defense of self or others. So are you saying self-defense is 16-3-21,
Yes,
correct?
Judge, that is correct. And 16, I believe 24, at least according to Google, says a threat of force, the use of force is justified when you reasonably believe it's necessary to prevent or end a person's trespass.
Use of force in defense of property other than a habitation. What are you talking about?
Judge, I already removed the defensive habitation from the earlier jury charges. This was done in anticipation of what evidence could be. We can remove the 1624 language.
All right, so then I'm going to, and you're not saying that he was using force to defend someone else. It was defense of himself.
Yes, Judge.
And so it'll say when the person's conduct is justified under OCGA 16-3-21, use of force in defense of self.
Yes, Judge, that's what we're alleging.
Yeah, sure.
And this is not a complete request to charge, Mr. Callahan, in regards to defense of others. When you look at defendant's request number 20.
Judge, let me see. Judge, if you would like, I can actually redo this one because, yeah, this one's incorrect.
No, we're doing it now.
Okay, that's fine. Judge, essentially, I would like it to say,
Sir, All of your paperwork is wrong. All of it. You need to knock it off. The judge is going to get through it all now because she can't handle you no more.
The pattern says sometimes a defendant's threat or use of force is legally justified and so is not a crime. A defendant is justified in using force that is intended to or likely to cause death or serious bodily injury when he reasonably believes that the use of such force is necessary to prevent death or serious bodily injury to himself, or the commission of a forcible felony, which means a felony that involves the use of threat or force or violence against another.
Yes. And false imprisonment is cut out, Judge. That is striked out on the proposed sheet. That is a mistake.
Well, you actually put kidnapping.
That was supposed to be crossed out. Sorry, I don't know why either the saved copies, it was an error on my part.
No, they're not. I rubbed them.
We're asking for the false imprisonment one. And that's why I included the false imprisonment.
You find me something that says false imprisonment's a forcible felony?
And then the next paragraph says, the state has the burden of proving beyond a reasonable doubt that the defendant's actions were not justified. If you decide a defendant's actions were justified, then it would be your duty to find the defendant not guilty. However, the next whole paragraph says,
wrong one.
A defendant is not justified in threatening or using force if he provokes the threat or use of force against himself, intending to use that threat or force as an excuse to harm the other person, is attempting to committing, fleeing after committing a felony. Is the initial aggressor unless he withdraws from the encounter and clearly communicates to that other person his intent to withdraw, and the other person continues to threaten or to continue to use of unlawful force, or is engaged in combat by agreement unless he withdraws from the fight and clearly communicates to the other person his intent to withdraw from the fight, and other person continues to threaten to continue the fight. And so, Ms. Fowler, what parts of that pattern charge are you requesting? Is committing a felony, possession of drugs is a felony? I mean, is that what really the self-defense is intended for? Can you not claim self-defense if you're drug dealing?
No, I don't think so. I would argue that is the initial aggressor. I mean, the evidence was that Mr. Rucker comes in hot, yelling.
I'll give that provision in the pattern. It's the third one down.
Vigorously,
On 20.
then aggressively.
So like here's the pattern. The charge stops here from Sean. So I have to give all that apply. This one needs to be given, the third one.
Okay. Anybody remember this one? It was one of my favorite clips of all time. It was like a mini Daryl Brooks in Ohio. And the weird thing was someone else played it. Someone else played that same, because it was so good. He got dragged out by 3 or 4 guards. He was pro se. It was so good. Oh, that's not scrolling. Hold on. I want to scroll it. I want to make it scrolling. Scroll. There we go. Now, every time Kelly answers what we don't know, that's going on. And it's going to happen often. You'll see. You'll see. All right. I didn't see this at all, not 1 minute of it. So hopefully something happens.
We realized that near the crime scene, they met with HFD and located a complaint outside the business multiple times. Time of death was around 7:48 on the night of the incident. They interviewed a witness, with manager at Papa John's.
Papa John's or Popeyes?
This is I think he's just, that's just background information, Your Honor. It's a 2920 to the road, so I don't know if it's, I don't know what type of business that's close by. During his lunch break, he walked to the gas station, located directly south, and said he was in the gas station, walking the meeting.
It's Lent.
Females fighting in the parking lot. Stated he was about 20 yards away, and described the defendant, gave a description of a black man in his 50s, gray beard, short thin gray hair, wearing a gray bucket hat, blue jeans, and a t-shirt. He described the defendant to be appearing homeless by his parents. The second individual, the complainant, saw the altercation. They were already physically fighting each other when he saw them. The defendant fell to one knee, and he continued to strike from the complainant. And said at this point, in the altercation, the complainant grabbed his neck, had a sharp wound in his eye, and you can see a large amount of blood coming from the complainant's neck. The defendant didn't walk out of the way, and the witness could see that he was holding a knife in his right hand. But 2 to 3 inch long blade. The witness went to provide aid and observed other apparent knife wounds to the complainant's body, called 911, and the complainant died. Yeah.
Okay. We'll put them on for tomorrow here.
Information on this affidavit is true. You have a seat.
Although he might have felony court, so like.
Guys, taking a knee is football. Game's almost over. It's only a few seconds left in the game. You're winning. You have 3 downs to go. If you take the chance of running a play, anything at all, if that quarterback runs any play, there is a possibility of a turnover. There's 4 seconds left on the clock. I mean, you don't want to run a play because if it's intercepted, anything, if any way that other team gets a hold of that ball for any reason, they can score. And if they score, you don't have time. You don't have time to come back and score again. So you take a knee. So they snap the ball and the quarterback just drops down onto his knee. And he's in bounds. So if you go out of bounds, the clock stops. But if you stay in bounds, clock keeps going. He takes a knee and then the clock runs down, game's over. And you won without being stupid about it. See, everybody remembers stupid people who didn't take a knee when they should have taken a knee. You know? Okay, I'm going to find somebody to come up in front of him. There we go. There's somebody.
So if they do this kind of speaking like we know at least we have it live.
Hey.
It's a play judge. I don't know.
You ready now?
I'm ready.
I'm just ready.
After that pork chop, I need something sweet so bad. Parabel.
Thanks. All right, good morning, Mr. Zagara. Sir, you're charged with assault causing bodily injury. You're facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine.
There's no way. There's no way. No one can.
It's
Mark
not the
did
same complaining witness. in the
heavy
case,
damage,
is it?
though.
No, it's not. It's not.
It is not, Your Honor.
I'm gonna pretend it's rugby.
I'd like to do a TRAS though.
Yeah,
You know, I think that that's, I mean, we now have a bunch of cases. They're like violent cases. This is not a good way to go through life, man. You know, what do you think happens when you try to get a job? They pull all this stuff up. They're going to think that they're going to give you, really, the more convictions, the more cases you pick up, all you're doing is you make life more difficult than it already is. Life is difficult as it is. You rack up more convictions. You think you're making it easier?
No, no.
You now stand charged with assault causing bodily injury. You're facing a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. You're also charged with terroristic threat. I'm assuming that the terroristic threat is going to be dismissed.
Yes, Your
right?
Honor.
So what they have offered you is a 6-month deferred. This is a type of probation that if you complete successfully, you do not end up with a conviction on your record. But you need to understand, Mr. Cigar, you give up nearly every right known to man by entering into this agreement. And if you fail at it, I will issue a warrant for your arrest. We're going to have a hearing and you're looking at an entire year in jail. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor, I do understand, yeah.
First thing I think that we should do is do a TRAS to see, you know, what conditions you may need, because I don't know if this is everything that you may need. You know, there's some kind of anger issues here that the last thing I mean, look, we just have a guy who has an assault. He just now picked up a murder case. We don't want that with you, right? So that's why I think that TRAS is important to find any issues that we need to address. For you to complete this successfully, you must do an effective decision-making class.
I'm sorry, but no.
A 4-hour
It didn't miss that.
anger management class. No drugs, alcohol, 10 hours of community service. No contact with either of the complaining witnesses in this case. Do you have any children, Mr. Cigar?
No, sir.
That looks correct. Maybe it takes time. I don't know. I hardly ever use them.
And yes, sir, yeah, I have a job and just.
Is it a full-time job?
Yes, sir, yeah.
Okay, you must maintain full-time employment. Did you graduate from high school?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay,
Aside
wait.
from what the TRAS says, Mr. Cigar,
Now, you just popped up in my contacts, but that, hold on. It probably just takes time because Venmo is Venmo. Thank you so much. 35 full minutes. Thank you. I appreciate it. Yes.
I will make you a deal. If you do well, I'll take you off of this probation early. But if I find that you become a danger to my community, if you pick up a new case, if you test positive for anything, it's not going to go well for you. Do you understand?
Yes, sir, I do.
You're giving up the right to a trial, the right to compel witnesses to testify on your behalf, confront and cross-examine your accusers. If you're not a citizen, there are possible immigration consequences. You can be deported, excluded from the country, denied naturalization. You give up the right to appeal. Once you accept this agreement, you are stuck with us until you complete it or it gets revoked. And like I said, if you violate this probation, I will issue a warrant. I'm going to put you in jail. I'm going to bring you back out and we're going to have a hearing to see how much possible time you could be doing, and it's a lot. Do you understand?
I do understand, yes, sir.
Okay, man. Good luck.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
It
Or, I'm
did.
sorry,
Thank
how
you
do
so
think
much.
it is?
Thank you.
Guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
I'm not gonna find you guilty. I'm gonna withhold that for 6 months. And then see how it goes. All right, so let's, all right, thank you.
Cheryl just added 5 more minutes, guys. Thank you, Cheryl. Thank you. And she gave $10, 5 for tonight, and then 5 minutes. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Jesse Espinosa, Your Honor.
Okay,
TRS 417, accepted in the PTI. Just need to reset till
is he
after.
here now?
Yes.
So let's send him for a TRAS now, instead of waiting till the 17th. He's been approved, right?
Yes, Judge.
Let's send him now since he's here. I mean, he's already here, might as well be efficient.
He's available
And then
for
we'll-
Judge.
Yeah, we'll set you off for like 2.5 weeks. Okay, folks? All right.
Should I just have him wait to talk to,
Yeah, just wait. Shatori will call him up and then make sure he's in here, and then we'll send him to do it now, and then we'll set you off.
just get a 2-week reset, you said?
Yeah.
Thank you, Your Honor. Maybe excuse?
For sure.
April 30. Right, got it.
I'll tell him to just wait. You guys take the shot.
Yes, I don't hear this part of this morning, we did sit with the. He didn't submit any case for these days, I have to do this with
I knew as soon as Kelly posted that the Cheryls would come. I knew it.
Yeah. Yes.
I told you. It's gonna come often, often. Hi, Crystal.
But I'm looking forward to this stuff.
No, every flow.
$4.
Oh, he did? Oh, okay. No. I'm sorry. Thank you for letting me know. No, I'm not. That's silly. Sorry.
I was like, oh, I thought he owed.
My fault. Thank you for calling.
Thank you.
Hi, Greg. Come on. You ready? Yeah.
Approach on Keenan Hopkins,
Okay.
reconsidering the no driving affidavit,
Is
Judge.
this person here?
She is.
She is? Come up, Miss Hawkins. How's it going? How's it going?
Oh, good. Thank you.
How has it been not
Oh,
tough, isn't it?
yeah.
Sucks. Living in a city as big as Houston without the ability to drive blows. You know, and the only thing that I'm trying to get to you is to understand that it's a privilege. It's not a right. You know, every single day on our streets, someone is dying from some kind of alcohol related collision. That's
And especially in Houston. When I was on the plane flying to Texas, the people on the plane were talking about the deaths from DUI in Houston. Cheryl, I had two $10 come in. Two $10 come in. Was that a Venmo mess up? Because I'll send you it right back. If it's a mess up, just tell me and I'll send it right back. Amy, 25 more minutes. Thank you so much. You know what, guys? You know what Venmo does? Venmo sends you a text of what someone says to you. This is for blah, blah, blah. Thank you so much. And then it puts a little thing on the end of it and it says, you have blank dollars in your Venmo account. You now have blank dollars. You now have blank dollars in your Venmo account. And I don't use Venmo. I didn't know this. I thought people were sending it to me and then they were saying because they tack it right onto their text. You now have blank dollars in your Venmo account. So I thought when all of you were sending this to me, you were all telling me in your text, you now have blank in your Venmo account. And I thought, oh, it's a little creepy. How did they know that? I hate technology. I hate it. Amy, 25 more minutes. Thank you. I appreciate it. Cheryl, you just sent 20, not 10. So let me know if that's a mistake.
We're trying to impart to you here to take it seriously. It's not a joke, you know? And the last thing I want is for something like that to happen here. You understand? All right. I'll take off the restriction. Okay. What does she have now? I want to make sure that she has an interlock for now, just for a limited time.
Judge, if I can speak to that briefly,
Sure.
just to reassure the court that she fully understands the court position. I had her research and write an essay on alcohol-related accidents and fatalities. We can turn that in and take a decision-making course. Her case is a stop for expired registration, no accident. You got the blood this morning, it's a 1-3. She has no criminal history. So I would ask the court
Screenshot or it didn't happen.
to use this, the research she's done in the 28 days without driving at all to understand that she gets it. And if we can not have the interlock, as would have been if she didn't have an open container, that we proceed further and let us do the work of getting the discovery move forward.
Okay.
I can turn both those in.
I want you to know, I will act to your lawyer, but if I find that you're using alcohol, I'm gonna blow a gasket. I'm really just gonna lose it. Just don't. That's all I'm asking you to do. Do you understand?
Yes.
Okay. I'll take a look at this. I'm gonna acquiesce to you.
Thank you, Judge.
Just don't. Life is too short to spend the next month in a 6x9 box. All right? Okay, man. Good luck. Thanks,
May we
Greg.
be excused?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hi. Good morning.
I have two arraignments this morning.
Okay, are you ready?
First one is Elijah Piper.
You want to bring them up?
Mr. Piper.
Did you say Trahan?
Yes, Elijah Trey Piper. Piper's name.
Piper. Good morning, Mr. Piper. Good morning. Sir, you're charged with driving while intoxicated. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you.
I was muted. I'm not pressing play. Hi, Bill. Hey, Bill. Bill. I'm not pressing play until I know that Bill is actually paying attention. I need Bill's full attention. Just Bill. Oh, so he says hi to Debbie. Bill. Hey, Bill, look. Hey, Bill. Bill, look. My shirt came in. Can you see it? It says it's Bill with a little half of a thingy right there. Right there. Right there's your little thingy, right? It's about 7 inches right here. See it? Uh-huh. No, he doesn't. Debbie, I'm freaking wearing his name. It's Bill on my shirt. Uh-huh. I paid for it. I paid to have his name put on my shirt. No, I can't. I'm really scared. I'm going to lose my freaking camera. This is my small coffee cup. It's a bad idea. It's a bad idea. It's a bad idea. It's a bad idea. Nope, that's it. Nope, I know. You're just going to have to trust me. It says it's Bill. And that's what it says. Contrast isn't going to help. It says this. This is what it says. This is exactly what it looks like. Exactly. on my shirt right now. It's very comfy and it's soft. And it's for sale on my site, but don't go there, guys. No. He just said no, like that was really an option to begin with. No. Shut up, Fozzie. Watch Judge Fleischer.
You have the right to have an attorney present if you cannot afford one will be appointed to you, sir. Okay.
On April 3rd, 2025, in Harris County, Texas, an officer was dispatched for a driver passed out behind the wheel. The officer arrived and observed the motor vehicle stationary and turned on. The defendant was identified by his driver's license. The officer observed the defendant sit behind the wheel. The officer looked at the defendant who appeared disoriented and fumbling with the door handle. The officer observed a strong odor of alcoholic beverage from the defendant, red glossy eyes, and the defendant was unsteady on his feet. The defendant told the officer to give one drink. The defendant refused to interact with the breath test. The officer read the DIC and the defendant refused to give breath or blood. Blood warrant was obtained and $4.
Did you say it was in the middle district?
It does.
Your Honor, just have a moment.
It's payday. You worked a lot of overtime.
Mr. Piper,
Let's get more entertainment. That's what you said.
Mind looking CPAs in prior to the eye?
Yes, sir.
Yes, valid license. I am ordering you as a condition of your bond not to consume alcohol, illegal drugs, unprescribed controlled medication. I'm going to randomly test you. If I find that you're using, I will revoke your bond, put you in jail, no more PR bonds. Do you understand? Yes.
The driver is eligible, Your Honor, and as to the priority guys,
You are not allowed to drive unless you have a valid Texas driver license and liability insurance in your name. If you don't have car insurance, do not drive. That is a condition of your bond as well. Do you understand? If I find you drive without it, I will revoke your bond, put you in.
Your Honor, I am showing and operating a vehicle while intoxicated. I'm from Louisiana. However, there's limited information that doesn't show.
How old is that?
Disposition or.
How old is that?
Since 2021.
Okay. I'm now ordering you not to drive any vehicle that doesn't have a guardian interlock on it. If you're caught driving a vehicle that doesn't have an interlock, likewise, I will put you in jail. If you have a problem with drugs or alcohol, Mr. Piper, now is the time for you to address it. Because if you don't, and it becomes an issue, I will address it for you. And I promise you're not going to like the way that I do it. Do you understand? I will do everything in my power to protect my streets at all costs. I don't care who you are or where you come from. For now, I'm going to have you go sign a reset with Victoria. We will have you meet with Felicia for your bond conditions. You have a lawyer. Because you have a lawyer, I will waive your appearance, but it is your responsibility to stay in touch with her. If she tells me that she can't get a hold of you because you're gone or AWOL or you pick up a new case, it's not going to go well. You understand? That's right. The only thing I'm asking you to do is don't pick up any new cases, and don't drive any other vehicle without an interlock. Do you understand? All right, good luck. Thanks.
All right, guys, we made it. Thank you so much for coming out today. I really, really, really appreciate it. I think we are doing OJ next, except I just got this huge error message from StreamYard, that the software that I use. Something about, oh, that would be me. Some users are having issues, and I'm probably one of them. So if I don't start OJ right now, it's because StreamYard is having an issue. But so far, it looks okay. So I'll see you there in a few minutes. Bye, guys. Thank you.
Electric light, late night when the world sleeps, she's the friend that all a summer's bloom. Her humor, dark and twisted charm. In a way, there's no alarm. Street tales late into the night. Her laughter feels just right. Even when my world turns gray, with a giggle, she lights the way. Her eyes hear a sky so blue. In her jokes, there's a truth so true. With each string, she brings the light, turns dark days into bright. Kathy's laugh cuts through the gloom, eyes blue like a summer's bloom. Her humor, dark and twisted charm. In a way, there's no alarm. Streaming tales late into the night. Her laughter feels just right. Even when my world turns gray, with a giggle, she lights the way. Kathy's laugh